Kelci.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. You look great.
Thank
You
you.
just froze for a second. Is it cold over there because you're frozen? No, no. What happened? Where's my Kelci? Let me see. We'll see. We'll fix it. Don't worry about it. We're good, y'all. She just froze. Oh, there you are. She's back. This is
There you are. Okay.
real. This is not Memorex. You remember? No, you're too young to remember that one. Anyway, welcome to Real Talk, Kelci.
I may have froze, but thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here. It's awesome. So let's tell the audience a little bit about you. Where are you from? And let's start us from where you're from. Yeah.
All right. So I grew up in a very small town right near Ithaca, New York.
Ooh.
So upstate New York, not the city.
Yeah.
So from the towns of farm and hippies, it's great.
I love it. People don't realize that when they say New York, people always think New York City. They don't realize that they have farmland and it's like so. Upstate New York is beautiful and it's a nice place. I would rather live in upstate New York and visit or work in New York City.
No, honestly, it's beautiful, especially if you go during the fall and you can go and see the waterfalls and the foliage. It's gorgeous. So I'm very grateful whenever I get to go back home and see everyone and everything.
So when did you realize that you were an artist?
Very young. My parents still talk about how my moms would say that I was obsessed with Barney. And I would memorize the shows and I would get props and I would do shows on the coffee table and I would just reenact the numbers that I saw on Barney. So, and even then I started doing backyard productions. I used to looking back on it, I would produce, direct, and star in these backyard plays that I would just rope in all the neighborhood kids. And it was so stressful. And every time I'm like, I hate this. Mom, I'm never doing this again. It's not going the way I want it to. And then I would, of course, someone would go, you should do that one. And I'm like, yeah. I think there was no denying it at a certain point. And
that's awesome. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt.
Oh, no. Yeah. But I always wanted to be an actress. I always wanted to, at first I really thought I wanted to be on TV. And then I thought I wanted to do more musical theater. And it just it's all warped itself into a big mesh passion.
Yeah. You're all around actress. You can do stage and screen, which is fantastic. Yeah. You can sing your butt off. You can act, and you're beautiful. I loved working with you. I have to say, we did the 48-hour project, and it was we kind of spoke that into existence, I guess, that we were going to work together.
And what was so funny is I remember actually after filming it, I felt sick to my stomach the next day because I was in the writer's room as part of the script because I was also producing this film.
Right.
And the fact that I happened to be the star was not planned at all.
Right.
But as soon as we got musical theater, we were just like, I guess it's me.
Perfect though.
Yeah, and it worked out so well. And I'm really grateful for it happening.
Yeah.
But it was definitely kind of a dream come true because I'm like, I've always wanted to be in a musical movie. So it worked out.
It really did, and there's only 3 of us in it, so we really stand out.
Yep.
There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah. Oh God, but no, I remember feeling kind of sick because when I was talking to the writers, we were coming up with story ideas and I ended up pulling some very personal themes from my life. And all of a sudden I remember getting that kind of when they say you're an artist and it's like being on an operating table and you put out all your guts for the world to see. Right. And then it's like, look at my guts. Okay, let's shove them back inside me now. And I was a little bit nervous about oh my God, and I just did that, and I hope nobody realizes that's partially me and my
right.
in my life.
This is the weirdest thing I'm ever gonna do. Hold on one second, I have to turn off this fan. It's making a lot of noise. This is live.
Do it.
Okay. that was quick. Sorry, I didn't realize. I was like, what's that sound? And that was, long story. But anyway, so yeah, I can imagine how stressful it would be just to open yourself up and put that on put it on paper, then on screen, and and then the next day it's all those feelings that you're like, okay, what did I do? Anyway.
What I didn't have time to think about what I did. What did I do? Like
yeah. But it worked out beautifully. We had it looks great. So I can't wait to go to the premiere together. Our first premiere.
I can't believe it. I got my first Best Actress nomination.
Oh my God. I didn't even know. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, wait, oh my God. Yeah, so I'm nominated. And I'm like.
And Best Film, right?
Yeah, it's nominated for Best Film, and I got nominated for Best Actress.
I didn't know. Sorry, I'm just finding this out right here. Congratulations, you deserve it.
Thank you.
Freaking amazing. Oh my God.
I'm honestly just floored and grateful.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh wow, I guess that's the good thing about putting yourself out there.
Right.
You know?
And it showed, and you did a great job. And let me tell you, people think it's a glamorous thing. Kelci was freezing her butt off on the beach while we all had on clothes. She has a little mermaid outfit, and you were a trooper. They had to carry her around and everything. I mean, it was a lot. And singing the songs and doing you did so well. It was amazing. I'm proud of you. You deserve that nomination.
My tailbone hurts so bad from sitting in that
rock in that spot. I can imagine. Yeah.
I'm just like, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not even going to complain. I am a mermaid. It was the greatest. Right. My 7-year-old me was ecstatic. I could not let her down.
No way. And no one would ever know on screen. And our chemistry, I mean, I'm gonna just talk about we had really good chemistry. I don't know we really do. We haven't known each other that long, but we got along right away on that phone calls that we had, and then we met, and it was like, forget about it. And
I was like, for the viewers of you that don't know, I work with Rapid Reels, which is a demo reel company, and Briscoe has done some work with us in the past. So being on the phone and getting to know him that way, and then getting to know him just even more as a person, and then just bonding, and then getting to work with you as an actor. And I love working with you, especially, I'm still kind of in my, I've been in LA for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And still pretty new at the game, still kind of learning the business,
right.
I guess you could really say. Mm-hmm. So getting the privilege to work with someone who's really been in the business for a while and is a working actor is a really great inspiration to me.
Oh, wow. Thank you. It's an honor that I worked with you because you bought this, like you said, that musical theater. I haven't sung like that in years in person, so it was just good to just even like have goosebumps now, just being able to do that with a professional, because you shine, and also behind the camera, you're really, really, you're well-rounded all the way. So like you said, you can produce, you can sing, you can act, and you're a good organizer. I don't know I guess our ADHD kind of helps us with that kind of thing.
Well, okay, so what it really is, I get this comment a lot. Kelci, but you're so well organized. Like, you've got your stuff together. And I'm like, you have no idea what's going on up here. Like, I've decided that, and I think a big part of it, because a year ago, I would have never been told this, that I was super organized and I am good at that. And it really took, I think a lot of one personal work, just kind of realizing, things that I had to accept about myself. And I think had this, I play neurotics and nerds very well, which you don't get to see in this film, but at some point I'm sure it will come up. And part of it is because with the ADHD, I also have a lot of anxiety.
Right, yeah, I can imagine. We're alike, a lot alike, seriously.
And I think that has to do with the chemistry too,
Yeah.
Having to kind of come to terms with, this is how my brain works. And, it doesn't get to work the same way as maybe somebody else's brain. And realizing I always had this habit of like fighting it and like talking really negatively at myself. And it was through the pandemic that I really had to kind of stop and take a second and ask myself, is this helping? Is this negative self-talk? Is this, and the way I even started to look at my acting started getting more toxic too, for a while, because I was feeling so like you get out to LA and you think that you're prepared. You think that like, oh yeah. And like, there's a part of you that just thinks, I'm just gonna win an Oscar and it's gonna be brilliant. And then you get out here and you're like, yeah, but I'm not booking. Like, I don't get it. And just realizing it's not about the booking and not only that, realizing that, there's a lot of people who, even if they do become famous and they become this big movie star and all this stuff, a lot of the times then they still don't feel fulfilled.
No.
And you have to kind of look at it. It's like, okay, why are you doing this? Why are you a storyteller? Why are you a creator? Why are you an actor? And not only that, why are you an artist?
Right.
This can go for writers, directors, painters, anybody. And it kind of comes down to realizing fulfillment is already part of us. It's already here. It's already, we already can have it so long as we choose to see it. So long as we choose that we already have our self-worth, despite whether or not we get a part, or if we never get cast, but if we can learn to love our self-tapes as much as we love being on set, our life is going to be so much better.
You're right though. You're so true. It's right. We pick ourselves apart and all that stuff, and all that insecurities. Because actors are the most self-centered, insecure people around. In a way, artists are like that. We're like, oh my gosh, I want to be in front, but it's like that's the same thing.
And I think part of it is because it does deal with so much emotional work. Like there was a scene in the 48 Hour Film Fest that I had to kind of channel into partially some memories and also some as ifs and all this stuff. Right. And she has to be in this very toxic place. And I think trying to figure out then, because after that I was like, ooh, I feel like awful now.
Right. Because you dug deep.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it can be easy for actors to let that influence us and our ego. Like our ego gets kind of stroked as actors. We have to deal so much with our emotions that it becomes so much about our emotions that we can't see the bigger picture. We lose track of we get so involved in our own storylines that we can't look and realize that we are connected to everything in this world. Like the birds, the tree, the other person in front of you is equally as important as you are.
Oh my God, Kelci, I love you for saying that, because a lot of people just don't get that. We all have value. We all have value. And we all have our ups and downs. And when we realize that next person, like you said, the person next to you, we don't realize what they're going through. Let's say I go into a set and I see someone that I've known for a while and they don't say hello or good morning or something. It might not be about you. They might be thinking about something else or going through something else. And usually that's the case. It's like, oh, I didn't see you, or I was, thinking about whatever, and then later on or during the day, it's like, oh, my mom's sick or whatever, and you're like, oh my goodness, I was saying, why is she talking to me? People jump there. It's all about, I'm thinking about myself, my ego, like why? And it's not about you.
Right. And everything too, because I say I produce as well, and the thing I like to think about when I'm on set, I'm on set to, yes, do a job. I'm also on set because I love to be there, But I think realizing mistakes are gonna happen. Like my number one saying as a producer is I plan for plan A and I am always prepared to go to plan C.
Right.
It's because you don't know what's gonna happen, but mistakes will happen. And it's not because people aren't trying or they don't care or they're lazy. It's really just a matter of you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know the circumstances they're dealing with. Right. And you have to look at, you can look at everyone's got the pros and cons. to themselves. So looking at those and just being, okay, and now what is the best way to work with this person, instead of like trying to shun someone else because of the negative qualities that they do have and possibly can't really change that easily.
Yeah. I've come to that conclusion. I work a lot, and I'm a background actor. That's my day job and a stand-in, and I work with a lot of personalities. What's going on? Where's my focus? No, I'm sorry. It's like, focus, computer. What's going on here? No, just kidding.
Anyway. Oh, there we go.
Lagging. See, things can go wrong, and they will.
And yet we deal with it.
But anyway, I work with a lot of different personalities, and I have whiplash sometimes. It's like, that person's happy, that person's sad, that person, and you're like, okay, you got to deal with it all. And then in a personal level, you're dealing with it, and then like, okay, action, you got to put it aside, do your job, and you might not even get along with that one person that you're working with very closely. You got to put it aside, do your job, and usually it works out fine. I have a few co-workers that I work with a lot, and for some reason, we just don't click. I don't know why. I try, but now for a long time, and I've given up. Let's just be professional, do our jobs, and you go sit over there, and I'll go sit over there, and it's okay. We don't have to like each other. You don't have to like me. I have enough people in my life that do, and call me out on my crap, that it's okay. But yeah, people think that it's glamorous. Our business can be glamorous later for like the 5 minutes that we get to like go to premiere or something like that, or watch it together and laugh and love it or cry, whatever. But it's hard work.
It's really hard. I think honestly, like, I think I saw when I was a kid, I saw these like people on TV or whatever, and then throughout the years, you know, like I said, I had to kind of come to terms with like, why was I acting? And I even had to come to the realization that, you know, I wasn't acting for the right reasons because I was bullied as a kid. And so all of a sudden you think, yeah, well, you know, someday I'm going to be this big famous actress, and, you know, like, and I'm going to prove myself. And it's like, actually, that's not right. No, that's not, no one can you shouldn't be proving yourself to anybody. You already have it. And it's harder to say that to somebody in the moment that's struggling. Right. But I think realizing that, you know, your craft at the end of the day is, if you are an actor and you say to me like, oh, but like, you know, this is my job, this is my career, and you have to be able to laugh at it a little bit.
Oh, please. Yes.
You have to be able to realize, I like to play pretend.
Yes.
That's what I do. I play pretend, and, you know, I would like to make some money from it.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't have control over that part. I can invest in my career. I can take classes. I can take my mistakes with humility so I have more momentum to keep going. But other than that, I have no control. So the more of like, and it's harder to accept that someday than others.
Yes, you're right.
Especially when you get close. Like,
yeah. And I've been there like, oh,
and then you're like, no, I suck, and I'm gonna go cry, but the world still thinks I look glamorous and cute.
It's so true. It's like in this business, it's either feast or famine. Not even just like about the money part, but like the work part. You're working a lot, and then you're not working at all, and that's when the tricky part comes. It's like, okay, you got to prepare yourself for those down times when when your brain starts to, you know, pull things inside because you're not working. It's like, nope, let it go, because, you know, you love your profession, you love what you're doing. Eventually, you will get paid for it. If it doesn't, a lot of times it doesn't happen, but you can still enjoy this career. You don't have to be rich and famous to work in this business.
No, and I recently was talking in one of my like more down moments. I talked to my acting teacher, Tony Rego, who is great. And if anyone does not know that name, you should go take comedy classes with him. He's lovely. But I was kind of talking to him about like, you know, am I making a mistake? Am I like, here I am, and I wanted to do this my whole life, and now I'm realizing, you know, like there is a good chance that I am not going to make money, and like all this stuff, and like I'm like, and he told me the best thing you can do is to fall in love with the process. And that completely changed my mindset with so many things. And it's one of those things where it's like, now when I have a self-tape, it's like, okay, I have an excuse to act. And not only that, I practice my self-tapes. I'll just if I don't have a self-tape that week, I will pull out a random script from class and just get in the practice of taping.
Right. Yeah. It's important because how do you feel about that? I think it's better for me. I love self-tapes better than going into that room with auditions. It's so nerve-wracking, especially when you get there and let's say the part calls for a specific look. They want a redhead. They want a black guy. I walk in and there's like 30 other black guys that kind of look like me. And I'm like, have to compete with those guys who, might not be as talented. It doesn't matter about the talent. It just matters about who gets that role. When I self-tape, I'm all by I'm my own worst critic. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I can do it over and over again until I feel it's right and then send it in. So I don't have to worry about the competition. Even though I know they're out there sending their tapes in as well, we don't have to sit there and look at each other going, wow, I hope, and congratulations, you got it. I usually am happy because if there's someone I know, the more someone you know of people around you that work, I think it's better for me because I'm like happy for your success. I say, oh, I'm in the right circle. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that happened to me fairly recently. Me and a friend went out for the same part, and then I saw that she got it. Like, because I saw it come out, and I was like, oh my God, you got this! That's amazing! Like, because at the end of the day, it's like you want to surround yourself with people who, you like I was just saying, I was so honored I got to work with you because I'm like, this is like where I want to be. Like, these are the people. I have to have some humility and kind of look at like, okay, so what, like, oh, they practice their self-tapes, or they juggle the work-life balance, or like
Kelci just froze, y'all, but I'm sure she'll be back. Kelci? Well, I guess that's the end of Real Talk. This is live, y'all, and I think I lost my beautiful Kelci. Well, with that said, if you have a dream in your heart and a plan, there she is.
Thank God.
Okay, you know what, Kelci? It's so funny though. Miguel taught me how to edit. He showed me how to edit. So that little segment can be edited right out of there. When you were frozen, you were like, it was cute. She's back. She's back. I'm sorry.
No.
Where were we?
So I was saying, and also with the self-tapes, I find it like a pro and con thing. I love self-tapes in a way because one thing that I realized that really helped me as an actor was realizing I needed a job that I didn't hate and I could find fulfillment of, like, where, and don't get me wrong, like I'm the jobs that I found, if the day that I get like a series regular audition, I'm hoping that my bosses will be understanding and accommodating towards it. But I'm a teaching artist. So I teach music and I'm getting certified in children's yoga. And I teach now a storybook theater class as well for like 2 to 5 year olds.
That's amazing.
So, and it's, there's something about doing something that's a job that you already like, because then when you go into an audition, you don't have that same desperation. You don't have that like, please let me in. I can't be a waitress anymore.
So true though. You're right. You got, yes. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I think self-tapes give actors more of an opportunity to do things like that, because now it's like, oh my gosh, like before it would have been a problem if it's like, oh my gosh, I have an audition at the same time as my class, and now it's a hassle, versus it's like, oh, I have a self-tape, I can do it anytime today or tomorrow.
Right.
And not only that, I can get coaching before the self-tape. Yeah, and work on it with my coach. Like, he can just be my reader over Zoom. And that totally has worked for me in the past. So in that regard, I really, really love the self-taping stuff. I also kind of had to learn the way of the self-tape.
Yeah,
like,
the way of the self-tape.
The way of the self-tape. Like, I had to realize, like, okay, I do not have I am not good at post-production. I'm great in production. I'm terrible in post. So I had to figure out, like, okay, so what's going to be the best way for me to edit and upload this? What's going to be the best way? And not only that, also, like, I'm not a skilled, like, I'm not a gaffer. I'm, like, you know.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
But having to invest a little bit in my self-tape setup, it's why, like, I got this screen. It's why I have lighting right now that's on me. And it takes me, I have a little microphone, a little lav that hooks up to my, I film on my phone.
Right, that's perfect. Yeah.
And even then, there was a casting director that kept calling me back in. And when I finally got this microphone, I booked.
Girl, let me get that mic.
Right? It's worth it. It's worth it to invest in the self-tape setup. And not only that, if you have not, go take some sort of class that gets you used to acting self-tape style.
Right.
And practice. Like, Audrey Helps Actors does a self-tape May that I did not get to complete, but it was the first time that I had done, like, I did the 6 out of the 16, but at the end of the month, I was still like, okay, but I did 6 self-tapes in a month. How many more is that from last month?
Right.
6? Great. You know? So, and even then, that was enough to help me feel more comfortable. And now I keep up the self-tape practice.
Right. You have to.
Yeah. And I think going into the room, I haven't had an in-person audition in a very long time.
Yeah. It's been like 2 years for me.
Yeah.
I've had tons of auditions, which is kind of weird, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think the one thing I do miss about in-person auditions is getting the note.
Yeah, because that's true. We don't get that now.
I don't know. They could be looking for. Sometimes it's nice even for a director to just realize, okay, can an actor take direction?
Right.
And even just getting to show them, like, even if you just change your performance a little bit,
right?
For a chance to nailing down what they're really looking for versus a tape. It's like, well, someone may have just happened to nail down exactly what they get, and I could have gotten it had I gotten a note.
Right. Yeah, I had an audition for a show, and I did the audition, then I watched the show, and me and the guy that got the part, we did it exactly the same way. But it was just, I guess, whatever it was, they picked him. It was a short little scene. He was like, oh no, but it was, no, I'm not gonna get into the whole thing because I'm gonna rehash it again in my head. We do that too a lot. It's like, he did a great job. And I wasn't like mad at him. I never met the guy, but he was totally opposite for me. He was a white guy with blonde curly hair. They were looking for anyone who could fit the part as far as what they were looking for, whatever the motion was. And he was a little bit more over the top than I was. And I usually have to be told to bring it down. And this time I could have brought it up. But we kind of did it the same. So I don't question myself anymore. I'm like, okay.
Yep. And that's the thing.
And they brought me back in for another audition, though. They called me in for something else afterwards. So I'm like, oh, they still want to see if I can do something else, which was good. So at least I know I'm on the right path a little bit.
And that's the thing. I actually was told something with self-taping, because when I used to do a self-tape, I used to hate them because I would spend like all day doing this self-tape because I was never happy with my take. And then I took a class with Greg Sims, who does a class called Path.
Okay.
And he has a very different technique, and it's all about as-ifs, which was actually great for me, like, you know, because it got me to hone in on just like one other element to the craft. And then I went on and started honing in on some of the other elements to it. But for self-tapes, he says, you get 3 takes. I fudge it a little bit, and I say I can do up to like 6, but taping itself should not take more than 10 minutes.
Right, okay.
More than likely, you're going to get your best take within those first 10 minutes. Because after that, you're tired, you've been doing it over and over. Or you could be doing like what they call like perfume acting, which I can be a little guilty of, where you're just like, emotion, oh, look at my emotions.
Perfume acting, that's perfect. I love that.
You know, versus like just what do you want?
Right.
Who are you talking to? Like, what was your moment before? What was your, you know, like having more specifics.
Right. I usually find my second take is my best. The first one is a little rusty, and I'll do the second, and I'll go back and do it again. I'm like, that was good. I like that one. I don't want to keep going over and over. Like you said, you're gonna you're gonna start getting confused and tired and realize, which one do I use now? I have 12. It's like, no.
Right. And then am I really gonna watch 12 self-tapes?
No.
Do I really want to spend, and then I have to edit the thing and then submit the thing. And it's like, no, I love self-tapes now that they only take me like an hour.
Right. That's it. I go to a friend's house, and she has a wall she painted just for self-tapes, and she's a great reader, and she helped me so much. It's perfect. So I love having a partner on the other side of that, reading back to me. Helps me a lot. And also my friend, I help her via Zoom, I'm a reader via Zoom while she's doing her self-tape. So this technology kind of, I don't know how she does it. She sets it up, and I just read whatever line she gives me, whatever side she has. So I help that way. So that got me acclimated to, okay, I can do this, even though sometimes it sounded crazy. But I want to say one thing, but we have to remember to mention, I almost forgot, Miss Tatiana Paris.
Yes. Oh, Tatiana.
We can't forget her. It's she. Y'all produce this together, right? Give me a little bit of story. I want to jump back. Sorry, y'all. We're gonna jump back to the 48-hour film project.
Yeah.
So tell us how it started a little bit.
So actually, Tatiana was the one doing the 48-hour film fest,
right.
And I'm doing some stuff for Rapid Reels, and Tatiana is a writer/director with Rapid Reels. So, and I believe I think it was Tatiana who reached out to me and was just like, hey, do you happen to have the sound guy's number or whatever? And for someone who could be available for 40-hour film fest. I'm like, oh yeah, I still have their number from the shoot. Let me pass it over to you. And then I just threw it out there, and I'm like, hey, if you need any help with it at all, I'm more than happy to help. And actually, that's something I've been doing more recently, which is a big change for me. Is I think there was a while before I was like, I don't want to do unpaid stuff, and now give me the unpaid work.
Right.
I love it because it's still acting. You still get to do the fun thing, and not only that, for me, work has always led to more work.
Right.
Always, or more networking or more connection.
You hear that, right? That's
work leads to more work. It's so important. And I'll get to a success rate with the 48-hour film festival out of this. Right. So I just offered. I'm like, hey, if you need any help with this, I'm more than happy to. And she actually asked me if I would like to produce this, and I got so excited. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could actually produce a short film. Yeah, let's do it. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work.
I got there later on. A lot of that hard work was already done by the time I got to set. So y'all really, I didn't even.
It was a lot.
None of the stress was brought to me at all as an actor. I didn't feel any of it. Y'all are so good because I know it wasn't easy. Just by the nature of this business, I know y'all had a lot of headaches. I'm sure you've been through a lot of that, but. For y'all made me feel very much at home and at ease so I could perform what I did. So
good.
Yeah. So, but
and that's the thing. Producing is really just about for me anyway, problem solving is what it's really about. It's there's always going to be something on fire. Right. And it's not about pointing at the fire and saying who started the fire. Right. It's not about getting angry that there's a fire. It's just put out the fire so you can put out the next fire.
Right.
And not only that, sometimes we had the hardest time. We could not find a sound person.
Wow.
Nobody was available, or no one would do it for free, which, can't really blame them. But, and having to problem solve that. And luckily, our beautiful friend, Michael McIntyre, he was like, I've never done sound, but we're going to try it. And I'm like, yay! That counts.
Yes, I know, right? Thank goodness, though.
And, but that's the thing, working with people who are just really genuinely there to have fun and do the craft, they're willing to take the risks and help you out. And then the fires seem a little bit less scary when there's people you can call on. And you know, a lot of the ways you do that is by doing work for free.
Yeah.
So like make those connections, make those friendships.
Yeah.
It's so important. And so anyway, tangent over. So
No.
so Tatiana asked me to produce. I produced it, and it was actually a really great learning experience for myself as well. Especially as somebody who wants to produce more of my own work as well. Getting that experience was really great, and I learned a lot. And then the fact that I got to be in it was just like, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And, you know, I got to help like come up with like the brainstorming and the ideas for this. And we worked with these, with the two writers for this. They are
so good.
So lovely. So good.
I haven't met them, but look, those words and all that was just wonderful. It really was. It was
wonderful. And I was so happy to get to meet them. And, you know, it was a really just fun whirlwind, like of creativity with all these people coming in and bringing their own voice to this piece. And, and then we got to go on set, and we filmed the thing, and then the next day I was still like, it's okay, gotta do the paperwork, gotta like
send it off. And the ADR at the same time.
And the ADR.
For y'all that don't know what ADR is when we have to overdub our lines onto what we've already filmed, and we have to match what we see on screen. So we have to sing to match and all that. So it was an interesting process. It wasn't that painful. I thought it was going to be really, but it was because I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, he's going to be really mad. But he made it easier for us.
Raz,
yes.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So yeah, it was good. We did a great job, and it was like I said, I've never done that to that extent.
Yeah, and then it's funny because there was a short film I was a part of once that the mics were bad, really, and we had to ADR the entire short film pretty much. Wow. So that actually prepared me for this. And ADR is still, it's challenging, but like I was grateful for that experience. So it wasn't just coming in blind to it. Mm-hmm. And actually, so promise there would be an ending point to that tangent with work leads to more work. Mm-hmm. Raz on this ADR, she was like, hey, like, I'm a sound designer. You have a really nice voice. Have you thought about doing audiobooks? And I'm like, well, I have been told many times, actually, that I should do audiobooks, but I am terrible at post-production, and I don't know how to edit this, and it intimidates the crap out of me. Yeah. And so he's like, well, I sound like Kermit the Frog, but I can do all the editing. So we ended up teaming up and making like a demo, and now we're going to be hopefully doing some audiobooks.
I would love that, because I can listen to you read stuff all day. You do have that voice. It's a soothing, authoritative. You know, it's, how do you say it? I can't even describe. It's you have a very clear, easy, soothing kind of voice, and very much what we want to hear from a teacher. You know what I mean? It's very clear. I love it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's very.
Well, it's a good thing I'm a teacher then.
Right. I would love to be one of your students. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's true though, and actually, it's funny because I teach my friend voice lessons, and sometimes I'll guide her through a meditation if needed. Because the thing about singing is you have to be very relaxed in your body, because otherwise you can create tension and that can cause injury. So doing meditation, she tells me, it's like, you have a great meditation voice.
It's soothing, and it makes you want to listen. You know, it's like, oh, okay. It's like, I can see you reading a children's book. I can see a lot of them.
I would love that. Like, let me read Judy B. Jones. I'd love that.
I love it too. All right, here for it. Well, Kelci and I are going to the red carpet for the 48-hour film festival. She's nominated for Best Actress. Our film was nominated for Best Film. I still can't believe that.
I know.
You know that old saying I've heard before. Oh, it's just an honor to be nominated. It really is.
It is.
Oh, it really is.
There were so many films, and that's the thing. I'm just so grateful because, you know, there were so many films that were made during this project. So the fact that even getting into like a top 20?
What's top 20?
But
I mean, that's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing, and the fact that it was such a hard category. We got Fish Out of Water musical.
Musical, yeah.
And you know, I think the fact that we were able to just like, you know what, let's just have some fun with it. And I'm just so grateful for this experience, and I'm grateful for the people I got to work with.
Yeah, me too.
And I am so excited to go to my first award ceremony.
Isn't that great?
I know.
I have a feeling about something. I just feel it. Something good's gonna happen that night. I just feel it. It's tingling.
And even if it's just that we take a tequila shot, that's the good thing.
I'm actually, I gotta say, I'm giving up drinking. So you can take one for me. Okay, I don't need it. I have so much energy, whatever, so I don't even need it anymore. But yeah, it's
that's
all
fair.
good.
Oh God, I'm just gonna be so nervous. Is what it's really gonna be. I'm like
espresso.
Yeah, Amy Poehler talks about in her book. She talks about award shows are like chocolate pudding, and it's always like, do you want pudding? And you're always just kind of like, you know, like maybe, and pudding's nice, and then you get offered the pudding, like, and it's right there, and it's so close, and you want the pudding, and I'm feeling that right now, and I'm like trying to keep the humility, trying to keep the good mindset, you know, because at the end of the day, it's just an honor to even be one of the only 6 actresses in this entire festival nominated.
Oh my gosh. Even when you start, more statistics are blowing my mind. It's even better. You know, it shows that you are on the right path, and you are that good. So yeah, don't question. I know each different gig that we get is, you know, they're all different and unique, and they're going to change. We're going to feel up and down at times, but remember this feeling, and remember that you accomplished this here. That means that, hey, when you're feeling low, remember that, hey, it can be done, because 48 hours, wow. Yeah. That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Now give me like a week. Yeah. Imagine what I could do with a week.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like I said, I'm a background actor for a living, and I get to emote with my face and my body, but I don't get to say anything. So when the time comes, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting a part in this short film, and I get to not only act but sing. I'm like, of course, I'll pay you. You know, it was great,
and don't let Briscoe sell anybody short. He was so great. He was the perfect Ursula.
Thank you. Now tell Disney. No.
Right?
Oh, but as you said that. Speaking of, last week I got to be Billy Porter's stand-in. The guy from Pose and Cinderella. I didn't see him, but I got to be him before he was him. So it was carpool karaoke for James Corden, and it was fun.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Yeah. It was interesting to be in that car and see that array, how they filmed it. I learned something. I was only there for like 3 hours on CBS Live, and James has called me back a lot. I've worked with the show like 5 times. Always, you know, a few times in front of the camera and a few times behind the camera as a stand-in. But it was great. There's a lot of backlash from one of the things that he does, but I wasn't there that day, so it wasn't about me. But
not my problem.
Not my problem. I don't know. As long as the check didn't bounce, I'm all good. I'll work for free, but when you say you're gonna pay me. Pay me.
Pay me.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, y'all. Sometimes we have to go through those situations where sometimes you have to stand up for yourself when things aren't working right. But just don't forget to be nice about it. You don't have to be a jerk when things go wrong. unless people don't match other people's energy with like energy. You can like say it in a different way where your point gets across, but you're not a jerk. And it it helps me a lot because believe me, as a New Yorker, I can just let loose. And I'm like, no, don't let Gregory come out. Briscoe, you just let Briscoe be good because Gregory will cuss you out. Gregory's my name. So.
I actually recently, there is a passage that Eckhart Tolle was talking about, and we get this like, you know, we can get, it's when two ducks are swimming and one of the ducks gets a little too close, you know, they'll get into like a fight, and then they part ways and the duck shakes off the excess energy, the excess like that's causing the anger. It's just like, get it out. Right. And then the duck carries on. And that's it. And it's realizing like, I'll actually do that now. Like when someone cuts me off in traffic or, you know, or someone says something that like just gets right under my skin, I'll go and I don't care. I'll shake off. I'll get rid of it and then take a deep breath. And the sooner I can let it go and move on with my day, the happier I can be.
Oh, you're so right. Absolutely. That's good advice, y'all. Seriously, for everything, for everybody in any profession or any, you know, even in the supermarket, stuff like that. You just have to think about it.
Especially with everything going on right now.
Yeah, like, I've been in certain situations where I had to like think about it. It's like, okay, it's not worth it. It's not worth any of that. Even if I'm in my car screaming, nobody can hear me. It's like, why am I wasting all that energy, you know, with that? It's like, oh my God, let's think about something happy. Not, you know, being fake about it, but seriously taking it to that point where I'm like, okay, let that go. It's not, not important. Shake it off. Like you said, shake it off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Let's be real. I'm not always perfect when it comes to there are definitely times that I still
we all
scream, and then I'm like, my throat hurts now. That wasn't the good thing to do.
No. Yeah, just shake it off. Shake it off. Well, Kelci, I really appreciate you being here. I thank you so much. It's a pleasure always seeing you. We're gonna work together again. We're gonna see each other soon. We're going to the red carpet. But yeah, everybody follow Kelci Loring on Instagram and Facebook. I'll put up your links and stuff. And I also want you to send me the links that we were talking about, some of the teachers you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of those links, and I'll put that up because I'm interested as well. So it'll be, and we can send other people there, you know. But I want to say to y'all, if you have a dream in your heart and a plan, it's never too late. Can you dig it? I can. Kelci can. I love you, Kelci. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Briscoe. I love you.
Right, so have a beautiful afternoon.
Right, you too.